looking out at the crowd here today, and I see a lot of new faces. I remember back when I was one of those new faces 4 conventions ago, and what an overwhelming experience it was to be a young Liberal then. Our organization was strong and proud, with over 50,000 active members, thousands of whom literally showed up in Toronto to a convention that elected Paul Martin as the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. Things have changed. I say that we have a very serious task as young Liberals. We have a party to build and a culture to change, and young Liberals need to lead the way in doing it. I'm running for President of the Young Liberals of Canada because I want to take the lead in building a party that not only listens to youth, not only respects youth, not only values the voices of youth. I want to lead an organization, I want to lead a party that is a party of youth, a youthful party. I want us to be a confident organization that knows that young people can and should be leaders within the party at all levels. I want to see young Liberals as riding association presidents, young Liberals as campaign managers. I want to see young Liberals with their technological savvy creating a 21st century party for a 21st century Canada. And yes, we should see a few more young Liberal MPs as well, and that's something that I think we all ought to be committed to. But to be true leaders within the Liberal Party of Canada, young Liberals must get rid of this old view, this old stale notion that we're somehow junior partners in our relationship with the senior party. We're not. We're Liberals to the core, and our opinions matter just as much as anyone else's. We need to work with every other member of this great party to reconnect with Canadians. For us, that means doubling our membership of the YLC. It means doubling our funding for student clubs. It means creating an online environment where young Liberals and soon-to-be young Liberals across the country can get in touch and develop policies that will promote international diversity. Finally, it means reaching out to groups we rarely speak to, rural Canadians, high school students, young professionals, cultural communities, Canadians with disabilities, and saying, we need you. We want you to join us. We need to work together to make Canada a better place. The YLC must stop being a clique, a closed organization where only a few people make decisions and the rest of us just stand by and watch. We all have to be an active part of the team. We all have to stand up for a Liberal Party that is open, inclusive, and gives every single member a say, a voice, and a vote on leadership selection. I have met far too many young Liberals throughout this campaign who could not be with us here today because they don't have the money. And so for the 98% of young Liberals who aren't here, who aren't with us here in Vancouver, I want to say to you, when my name goes in nomination, your name goes in nomination. And so for me, if we want to keep a YLC that's strong and influential, we need to rebuild our organization and reverse the downward trend that's taken a hold of our organization for far too long. So my friends, I've been traveling the country for the past year, and I can tell you we've got a lot of good news. I've got some good news out of Lethbridge, over 40 active young Liberals at the University of Lethbridge, many of whom are here with us today. I've got some good news from Quebec, des bonnes nouvelles de Québec, un nouveau club scolaire à l'Université de Montréal. Good news at Grant MacEwan College in Edmonton. Good news in Brampton, Springdale, Cornwall, new campus clubs and riding clubs in these areas. Good news from Brentford, Nipissing, Pembroke, where Brendan Walsh, a young man, 16 years old, was able to raise $800 to attend this convention through his own fundraising activities. You guys have a lot to be proud of, and I'm proud of you too. And it's time for us to take that pride to a new level. We've got to start spreading the Liberal message of hope and opportunity to every single young Canadian across this country. Start bringing new people into our organization. Build this organization. Build this party. Don't ever give up. Don't ever let anybody tell us we can't do it. Don't ever let anybody tell us we're too weak to do it. We can take this country back with Michael Ignatieff as our new leader and as Prime Minister. So young Liberals, let us be leaders too. Prenons charge, allons-y, let's get on with it. Merci beaucoup. We've got work to do. Let's go.
Courage, passion, and determination have long been guiding principles for the young Liberals of Canada. As a body of sober second thought, or maybe for some of us only second thought, the young Liberals, time and time again, have carried forth a voice for progress and a voice for change in this party. During my very long campaign, I have traveled across the country meeting with numerous young Liberals. I am constantly reminded of how vital our organization is to the foundation of our party and to our character. From same-sex marriage to Kyoto, the youth have provided our party with the backbone needed to move forward. We should be tremendously proud of what we have accomplished together. So where do we go from here? And let me take a minute to tell you more about myself. My name is Lavoie. I was born in Montreal. I am a young Liberal. And as you can see, I can also bench press 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I have had the pleasure of serving as your VP policy since 2006. Through my many years of involvement in the party, I have developed an understanding of the necessary managerial skills and leadership skills needed to move this organization forward. Now, being a young Liberal in Quebec these past few years has been about as popular as the Toronto Maple Leafs in Montreal, or maybe even the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto right now. Michael Ignatieff, since becoming leader of our party, has restored our sense of pride and purpose, not only in Quebec, but all across this great country. By reaching out to Canadians from coast to coast to coast, our leader has delivered the message that our party must be more inclusive than ever. That means reaching out to people who have never been engaged in the political process and those who have for too long been absent from the table. Just as we must pursue our 308 riding strategy, we have to engage young Liberals in places where we have not done so before. We want to help engage Canadian youth on campuses across the country, especially on campuses that have not had a traditionally strong Liberal presence. We must do this by providing them with the necessary tools to flourish. So, as you can see, I may be a small man. However, I do not believe in small politics. This race has been about defending the tradition of this great institution of ours. It has been about building on our strengths and learning from the past while always looking to the future. This race has been about fighting for a stronger and more united Liberal Party than ever. Merci beaucoup. Bon congrès.